Science for Everyday Decisions, series by Center for Sustainable Development at the Earth Institute, Columbia University. For your consideration for a more sustainable life through education for sustainable development.
Hello, everyone. We hope you are safe and well, physically, emotionally, and mentally these days. The year 2020 is turning out to be a rather interesting year for our world, as each continent, country, community, our households, and individual grapple with the realities that the COVID-19 pandemic is presenting.
Thanks, Han, for that great intro. In most of our countries, challenging yet necessary measures such as physical distancing and lockdowns have been implemented to ensure all of our safety. Though these restrictions may not have been placed in every area of wherever you're from, confirmed cases of the COVID-19 infections have been identified in all countries of the world.
Thank you so much, Tara. And as most of you already know, this is a momentous time. The world needs the stories and reflections of young people included on its agenda. The decisions, the strategies, and plans that are made now will shape the future. And so it's important that your voices are heard, and this is a crucial time. Not only is it important to amplify community voices, but as eco-ambassadors, it is your responsibility to ensure that correct information reaches your community. This training is designed to help you achieve this safety. What we shall do is ensure that we give you the skills that you can apply, not only in your work as an eco-ambassador, but also in your life as a community leader and agent of change.
Public service announcements, also known as PSAs, are typically made to give people important information to address a challenging situation, such as environmental threats or disease outbreaks. This pandemic we are in is scary, so we have the responsibility to give our listeners the most accurate information in ways that do not cause panic. For example, if you want to mention the number of deaths worldwide because of the COVID-19 outbreak, also mention the number of recoveries. This will help people contextualize information without scaring them. It is important as eco-ambassadors and as conscious global citizens to always share how people can prevent further infections.
That's such a good point, Han. And given that a lot of the media-related work that we usually see is done face-to-face, this crisis requires that we find ways to keep ourselves safe while still continuing to do that important work of getting accurate information out to the greater public, especially those that may be harder to reach. Reporting remotely asks us to get creative with the resources and technology that we have at our disposal at home. For most of us, that means using our smartphones instead of recorders or other technology, since this is the simplest way for us to record and send our audio out for broadcast. And we can do this using whatever channels we have available to us, such as WhatsApp, social media, email, or even free audio platforms like SoundCloud.
Thank you, Tara. And most of you already have these low-cost communication devices and technologies like mobile phones. But you might be wondering, what is a public service announcement, also known as a PSA? So public service announcements are created to persuade an audience to take a favorable action. And like audio advertisements that aim to sell a good or service for commercial reasons, public service announcements can create awareness, show the importance of a problem, or convey information, or perhaps promote a behavioral change. This might also include environmental issues like biodiversity, climate change, waste management, plastic pollution, and it can help to get people to think about what they can do to be part of the solution. Whether you are the cause of your own, or you are an educator, an eco-ambassador, a change agent in your community, public service announcements Create a forum for learners to actively participate in a project that allows them to become stewards of and advocates for social change. Here is an example of a public service announcement titled Little Hands Matter and was created by UNICEF in South Africa to raise awareness and encourage action on child abuse amidst the COVID-19 pandemic.
This is a public service announcement from UNICEF, the United Nations Children's Fund. Social distancing is one of the ways to stop the spread of COVID-19, but children being out of school means they can be vulnerable to abuse. Don't distance yourself from stopping child abuse. It takes a village to protect a child. Let's protect our children together. Report child abuse now. Call Childline on 08000 55 555.
Remember, the essence of the public service announcements that you just listened to is to grab your audience's attention. In this case, you might use emotional response, humor, or surprise to catch your target audience. But be careful, however, of using scary tactics. Like Ain said earlier, it's important that if you're speaking about the deaths attributed to the coronavirus, it's also important for you to speak about the recoveries. So attention getters are needed, but they must be carefully selected. It's important for you when creating your own public service announcements to create a script and keep your scripts to a few simple statements. A 30-second public service announcement, which is the duration of what you'll be producing, will typically require about 5 to 7 concise assertions. Remember to time yourself and practice 2 or 3 times to get a perfect public service announcement. Others might also give it a single take. Tara gave an example of what happened when Lady Gaga was recording one of the songs and she did it in one single take. You might equally be that person doing it in one single take, but do not be ashamed of doing it 3, 4, or 5 takes. Remember to time yourself like I mentioned, but also highlight the major and minor points that you want to make. For example, in the UNICEF public service announcement that you just listened to, there were a number of key issues that you can learn. For example, one catchy statement which was said in the public service announcement read, and I quote, "Don't distance yourself from stopping child abuse." The next statement, and I quote, "It takes a village to protect a child." So those are key, powerful call to actions that can allow your listeners to be able to do something. Then there was a solution which pointed listeners to the Childline number where child abuse cases could be reported. In your own public service announcement, when you give a problem, identify a call to action, remember to also provide a solution. What you want is for your listeners to be able to listen to your public service announcement and learn 1 or 2 things and act upon them. So be sure the information presented in the public service announcement is based on up-to-date, accurate research as well as findings. In a pandemic like this, there are also chances of infodemic, where there's a lot of information that is inaccurate. Remember to use credible sources when doing your research, and remember to only report ethically and responsibly. In the next phase, we're inviting you to use your smartphones. And as you might know, most smartphones have a voice recording device under the list of settings or even within the WhatsApp. However, a microphone is a symbol that is most commonly used for the voice recording device. But the main challenge of using your mobile device as a recorder will be getting the sound right. But we'll be able to help you understand how you can be able to get your sound right. So the microphone in our mobile phones aren't as good as our recorders. So please take the time to practice on your device to get the best possible sound quality. Tara will speak to the sound quality, and some of the tips that you can have at the back of your mind when finding the right ambience for your recording.
Thank you, Brighton. So as we all know, background noise can be very distracting and divert your listeners' attention away from the information that you are sharing. Think of ways that you can get support from the people around you. So maybe that's your parents or your younger siblings. If they're watching TV or they're on a work call or they're playing, just ask them, let them know you'll be recording, and politely ask them to be quiet for a little while you're recording, and make sure that you, if possible, record somewhere where you have some distance between you and those who may distract from your recording. And also keep in mind that soft background noises, things that you may not normally notice, can also be distracting. Things like fans or air conditioners or cars passing outside, they can be picked up quite easily during a recording. So those devices, if possible, should be turned off while you're doing a recording. You may get a little hot if the air conditioning can't be on or the fan can't be on, but it'll be worth it for the final product.
Thank you, Brighton and Tara, for these excellent tips on how to create public service announcements. Now, there's no better way to practice and learn a new skill than by doing. So we would like to invite you to produce a public service announcement about what world leaders must do to protect children during COVID-19. We welcome submissions in all languages.
For a chance to be featured in our podcast on this piece, we invite you to please submit to ecoambassadors1@gmail.com, which you see on your screen, or by tagging us on one of our social media channels, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, at the handles on your screen. And we ask you to please share your submissions by 11:59 p.m. in your time zone by June 14th.
As most of you have already heard, a public service announcement is a platform that you can use to bring your communities together around a subject that is important to you. You can also apply the same skills used when producing a public service announcement to voice your compelling and powerful contribution in your school, community gathering, or even when put by a news outlet to give your strong opinion on something. What you want to do is to create the intention, speak about the problem, provide solutions, and create a call to action. You can use your powerful voice to inspire others to take action. And the public service announcement is a means to that possibility. Thank you for being a part of this training, and we appreciate your contribution.